and warm welcome to our viewers and listeners of She Side. I am Ruchi Dwivedi, hosting the She Side podcast today. She Side is the social media and digital arm of Prayana, which is an organization that has a unique program for skill and attitude development for employability, entrepreneurship, and innovation in women. I very deeply care about this cause and I'm helping and supporting She Site in their social and digital journey. Our guest today is Lynn Bonner. Welcome, Lynn. Lynn Bonner is your go-to business productivity coach and future author of the groundbreaking The Lead Keys. Lynn's magic lies in turning your biggest dreams as a small business owner, be it bliss, wealth, and freedom, into reality. With her unique blend of business savvy and trauma-sensitive coaching, she's the ally every small business owner and senior executive needs. Whether it's about boosting business profitability, strategic planning, or finding joy, Lynn's got you covered. Get ready to transform your work and life with Lynn's simple, sustainable systems that promise more happiness, less business stress, and a life by design that you won't have to compromise on. Stay tuned for her book this fall 2024, and let's unlock your full potential together with her. Welcome, Lynn. We'll start with the questions now. Lynn, you have an extensive background in business transformation and leadership development. What inspired you to delve into this field and basically become a business productivity coach?
It's really twofold. The first of which is no one wants to work 70, 80 hours a week. Like no one woke up thinking, yay, I want to work. So it really becomes a key around how do we ensure that we meet the objectives of the business, but also set people free to do what they love and be able to bring that joy and that bliss back to what they're doing. We have seen stat after stat around when people are working at their best, when they are enjoying what they're doing, when they have the opportunity to connect with themselves and their families, they bring so much more productivity. They bring their whole selves. Their minds are clear. They can actually focus on the task at hand, get it done at quality, quickly, and be able to move on to the next big thing that we need to do. And so that is really how I started. Awesome. I am a systems and process person. Systems and process queen, if you will. Like I love to be able to set things up and be able to structure that. And so I had an opportunity to move into a career that let me do it and doing it ever since.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Your upcoming book, The Lead Keys, promises to be groundbreaking. Can you give us a sneak peek into what readers can expect and how it will revolutionize their approach to business?
Absolutely. So there's a few things in there. The way that we have gotten to this point in our businesses is slowly dying. It's time to think about a new way of approaching work. And so the lead key really thinks about who are you as a unique leader? What are your strengths? Some of the things you've heard before, but it's starting to think about how do you ensure that your approach to your team members are from a trauma-sensitive perspective? How do you ensure that all of the changes that we're making isn't actually being detrimental, not only to your business, but to your team members, to your systems, to your processes, and really taking a different mindset approach, as well as setting up those systems that leave you in a place where you get to enjoy what you do. Your team members are in places and seats in the business that they get to do and enjoy what they love to do, and your business will actually see that in productivity. They will see that in profits. You will see that in community impact, which is also a really big key to what is changing in the industry. It's no longer about the dollar signs, it's about what's happening with the world. And so this book starts to help you as a leader figure out all these different components, streamline as much as possible, but have everyone sitting in the right seats to do their best work, knowing that life is the point of being able to bring your passions and your joy to what you do. So,
yeah, absolutely. I so agree with you. Your coaching approach is described as trauma sensitive. How this aspect plays into your coaching style and why it's essential in today's business landscape.
Our business landscape is constantly changing. And so we really have to take a pause and think about the changes that we're making within our organizations, the impact that we want to make around us, and thinking about it from it can be intrusive for some, and some people will literally dig their feet in.
Mhm.
And so being able to understand that you can't push, you can't pull, you can't drag people through a change, you really have to take that time and understand what's happening, truly what's happening, and be able to help them unlock that. Sometimes it's trauma. Sometimes change has caused some really deep rooted
Mhm.
pains within someone. And not that you're trying to be their coach or their counselor, but a couple of very simple questions can very quickly unlock someone's inability to move forward. And so really understanding that it's not a hour-long therapy session, it's two questions in a private setting to give them the opportunity to speak
Mhm.
that can move mountains within these businesses and really be able to achieve the goals they want. And that's new for some leaders. Some leaders are like, oh no, I don't want to do that. And it's like, it's one question. Literally, it's one question that you can
Mhm.
actually make these monumental changes without all the hoopla, without, a 50-page change management document that's going to
Yes.
get lost in the mix. It's really
Mhm.
getting really focused and intentional around how you treat the team members that are part of your organization like people, not like resources, because that's another big key thing for us to really start thinking about. And so that trauma sensitive takes into account you're working with people. And as long as you keep that in the forefront, it will
Mhm.
help your businesses move forward. And then the one thing I'll say about that is no one wants to be the Monday meme. Like we find them funny when we see them, like they're ha ha ha, but
Mhm.
on the other side of that, if you have someone who feels like they can't be themselves at work, they have to spend 30 minutes in their car, working themselves up to get into the office, that
Mhm.
means we have some really serious issues. And you will see those issues in your productivity. You will see those issues on how they engage with others. And it's not them. There's something in the environment that is creating that need. And so we don't go for the person, we go for the environment and start
Mhm.
trying to figure out what can we adjust. Because if one person is that unhappy, good chance there are others that are
Yeah.
also not as happy. And so that trauma sensitive approach ensures that you don't create more toxicity, for lack of better terms, right now in
Yeah.
your environment, and really be able to see those outcomes, those results that you're looking for at the end of the day.
Right. Right. Yeah. That's logical. The LEAD collective focuses on leadership development, particularly for women of color in executive roles. What specific challenges do you see these leaders facing, and how does your program address them?
Ooh, that's a hard one. So we start to think about things around diversity, equity, and inclusion. So that DEI mindset. For
Mhm.
some organizations, it is we will give you a role, but we don't expect you to participate, don't ask questions, don't speak. So it's like we've checked the box on yes, we have a woman in the seat or a woman of color in the seat, but any type of participation in making key changes that helps all
Mhm.
isn't necessarily asked. It's kind of a checkbox. That's a problem for someone who has the opportunity to really help others, not just women of color, but the entire organization have a different view of some of the decisions that they're making, have a different perspective on the
Mhm.
true impact of what they are discussing in these rooms. So that's one, being able to finally participate and be told not to participate. And that's got all types of mental and physical, implications when you're having to bite your tongue or when you're having to sit in a room and you really want to support and you
Mhm.
can't. So that's one. Another piece of that is really sometimes when you're in these conversations of these male dominated rooms, you may be the only one in the room. So another place where if you're not confident, if you don't feel comfortable in your skin, if you don't feel like you have the opportunity to really share your
Yeah.
perspective and your insights, you're in the room, like you finally get an opportunity to do so, you have to be
Mhm.
confident and understand that you have all the skill sets, all the capabilities, all the experience that you need to be able to help those who may not even see the biases. They may not actually understand that what they're saying isn't appropriate for a team member. Like they just may not. Sometimes it's actually truly not intentional. Sometimes it is, but sometimes it's not. And so being able to Again, I go back to that trauma sensitive training that we talk about, being able to say something to someone in a way that doesn't trigger them, but brings awareness and helps them be able to actually absorb what you're saying beyond your gender and your ethnicity.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you just gotta say it in a way that they will get. So those are some other challenges, being able to be in that room and be comfortable in that room and say what you need to in ways that are not triggering, but clear. I'm
Mm-hmm.
really big on that one. Like, say what you need to say. It doesn't have to be sugar coated, but at the same time, you want to be open to what's happening. Um, Other pieces of that would be everyone's coming from different backgrounds. So, different educational backgrounds, different living circumstances. And so, knowing that that is actually a strength
Mm-hmm.
to me and not something that to be like, oh, I'm not sure. It's like, no, actually, that's a good thing. Like, you not being like everyone else is awesome. You get to be the one who stands out as different. You get to showcase the fact that these things are possible,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's in a large corporation or whether it's you running a multi-million-dollar small business. Like, you get to be a beacon and a example of possibility. And so when I'm speaking to women of color, go be you. Like, just go be you and be able to really showcase that and help others see that it is possible. And it's not this fear mongering that sometimes happens with people where it's like, I'm not sure, she speaks too much. It's be you.
Mm-hmm. Be yourself, be natural, absolutely. As an executive leadership coach, what are some common pitfalls you observe among leaders, and how do you help them overcome these challenges?
Hmm. Lack of confidence, feeling like
Mm-hmm.
they can't be authentic in who they are,
Mm-hmm.
uh, feeling like there's still a need to overperform, overdo. There's still a bit of a mindset there around I have to do 3 times as much to be considered the same as others. And
Mm-hmm.
I can't say that in some organizations that's not true. Like, just can't. Unfortunately, that is the case in some places. But understanding where that's really an issue or where that's where we're telling ourselves something and being able to speak to the balance. I go
Mm-hmm.
back to no one wants to work 70, 80 hours a week. Like, no one woke up thinking, woohoo, I'm going to give all my time and energy to this one thing.
Mm-hmm.
You want to live, you want to travel, you want to hang out with friends, you want to do all the other things. And so when I'm
Mm-hmm.
coaching women executives, it's where's the balance? What makes you happy? And how do you bring your passion and your purpose to your role? How do you get to show up in that place completely bright and authentic in your strengths,
Mm-hmm.
knowing that you have a ton of team members around you that also have other strengths? And how do you delegate and how do you balance and how do you start to work beyond this it's me and versus it's we? And that is
Right.
a monumental shift for some leaders because they're so used to, I have to do it. I have to say it. I have to plan it. I have to think through how I am going to execute it. And
Mm-hmm.
it's really broadening the thought process of actually you're at the leadership position, which
Of
means
course.
we're thinking about strategy and how do you build successors and how do you build the expertise in your team and what trainings do they want, not what trainings are you thinking they need. How do you
Mm-hmm.
have those conversations so that your team and you get to expand and grow? That's actually how you stand out in organizations because now you've built a rock star
Mm-hmm.
organization that is getting tons of things done, the
Mm-hmm.
right things that are actually moving the needle and helping them see like, okay. It's like get out of your box and think about the whole.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how you get promoted. That's how you move towards other leadership positions. That's how you start to see the impact, the profitability, and things of that nature because you gotta shift it. So
Mm-hmm.
a few things.
Sure, sure, of course. Can you share a memorable success story from your coaching journey where you witnessed significant transformation in a client's business or a leadership style?
Absolutely. I go back to trauma sensitive, being able to work with someone who just didn't feel like they belonged.
Mm-hmm.
Ultimately, it's like I want to be in this leadership position. I've been promoted into this position, but they were starting to feel like they were not performing. They were getting feedback that they were not performing. And so we really had to sit down and think about what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
And the series of questions that I was asking was really unlocking the fear unlocking the unsuredness, finally getting to the bottom of they didn't feel like they belonged in that position. And so we went through a few somatic coaching experiences to really unlock that sense of belonging, bringing back that sense of safety. And once you do that, they're now feeling secure within their situation, to feeling secure within what she was bringing to the table. And so now she can start to ask questions. She can start to make statements. She actually got promoted again, which was like super duper exciting to me. So I was like, ah, yes, because now she didn't feel like she needed to hold back. She wasn't in this cocoon. She can move forward. And to me, that one was probably the most exciting. I've had others that are very much similar, but to see her so quickly unlock that fear and be able to really show up, it was about to cry. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful situation. So
Absolutely. And very satisfying, of course, for you and your. What advice would you give to aspiring business coaches who want to make a meaningful impact, in the lives of their clients? Any tips?
Stay curious and open to constantly learning what's happening around us. The traditional ways of doing just about everything are gone. They are slowly either completely gone or dying. And so being open to how do we innovate? How do we connect with others around us that has all of these answers and information, and being able to see us more as a group and as a collective versus individual business coaches, that becomes key, because you're helping to build something that is sustainable and long lasting. And that ultimately means you need to think about the systems and the processes that are adaptable, but also helping to ensure that we keep the people at the center and making sure they feel safe and they feel secure and that they know what's happening and that they have the opportunity to learn and grow along with the business. Because sometimes business coaches are like, here's the steps, boom, and we kind of forget we have to roll these steps out to other people. They need to be engaged in the beginning, not necessarily told what we're going to do at the end, which seems simple, but you would be amazed at how many times we kind of miss that step because we're in such a rush to get to the end. And so I would say for business coaches, think through all of the pieces and really keep your people, the impact, the outcomes in focus, but not have it be the entire purpose, because people won't move with you if they don't understand where you're going and why you're going.
Great. What's your message to the readers of She Side and the viewers of this podcast?
Oh my gosh. Show up and show out in all the best ways. Every single one of us has different strengths and capabilities and ways in which we can move businesses, leadership, the entire world forward. So I would say get comfortable, like with understanding what those strengths are and being totally okay with showcasing them and wielding them for the good of all.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much, Lynn. It's been a pleasure talking to you, and this has been great that we were able to connect and set up this time and this wonderful podcast. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Excited to be here. Thank you.